From downtown, this is Tim Kitzer from NBA Jam, and you're listening to NintenDomain Podcast. Boom shakalaka!
This week on NintenDomain, Nintendo TreeHouse has played Nintendo World Championships, and what are the best games so far of this year?
I ruined that candy bar's life.
Great sales, but will I tear myself away?
Comes with a bigger strength and mind. One side that all the power shining bright. Megaton Musashi. Never forget the promise we truly made that day. Hold close to still heart that would never ever give in. Me treating Kona easy.
Tear yourself away. Welcome to NintenDomain Podcast, episode 429. Your place here, Nintendo fans. Talk about NES, competition games, and other things. And we are your hosts. I'm Megaton Musashi Wired Johnson.
Wow. I'm Jeremy, friend of the raccoons, Mikowski.
I'm John Kong Dong Knitter.
I like that you put that in there, because it was a pretty funny name. I did see that on the news stuff. I was like, Kong Dong?
It's canon.
Really? Yeah. Right?
Yeah, Kong Dong.
We're back. NintenDomain is back. We took a break last week. Well, I was at AEW Dynamite at the Wintrust Arena, and Jeremy was camping, and I didn't get back till like 11, so I was like, hey, let's take a break for the 4th of July, even though we don't really celebrate that, but we got to see some fun fireworks in our neighborhood on the actual 4th, which we took some video footage of. But anyway, we're back. And if you like listening to us talk and you enjoy the podcast, go to patreon.com/NintenDomain Podcast and you hear other episodes as well. And while we were off for a week, I did actually post our podcast that we did last year, where we did our top 5 favorite 4th of July /America games. So I put that up on the free feed. So all the free people, you heard the regular expansion packs that we normally do. So
if you were like, wow, that episode was a lot better than usual.
Yeah, if you really like that episode, go to patreon.com, and for just $1, you can hear all the other ones. We have what do we have? 62 other ones? Well, 62 plus. There's a bunch. There's extras aside from that. But yeah, the last one we did was 62, and it'll be 63 and 64. But there's other ones. But I've added things that have gone off of that. Sometimes there's one episode that's actually 2 episodes, or there's an extra part to another episode. So there are other things you can find. And at the $5 level, you can watch videos of us, and you can also listen to the WART radio, which I just put out almost 3 hours worth of in-between music, intros and outros. Actually, I really loved the last episode that I did, so, that's why I was like, I need to take a break, because I did the WART radio in the expansion pack. But I really like that WART radio, because there's a lot of sound effects from Slayer's X in there, so it's fun. It's a good time. So check that out. So yeah, let's start off the show with our topic and news. John's got to bounce in less than an hour, so why don't we start off with what we were saying here? So did all of you watch the Nintendo the TreeHouse? We all posted on the Slack, so I'd hope that all of you had actually watched it. The Nintendo.
I didn't watch it.
I skimmed through it.
Oh,
watched a few minutes here and there.
You guys are all filthy casuals. I watched the whole thing from beginning to end and loved it. And I was the one who
saw that
was against it.
It got reposted, and whenever I see something get posted twice, I always post it myself because I'm cool like that.
Yeah, it was like there were cherries going on all over the place there.
I use Slack properly.
Well, I posted it first, and then I think Jeremy posted, and or maybe John posted first.
It was John, and then I posted right after him. I just copied his link. I think I literally...
That's our tradition, is whenever someone posts the article for the second time, someone has to come in and do it the third time.
I think I got it first, but...
You did get it first, yeah.
You guys should have watched it all the way through, because I know Jeremy did mention before that they would play through all of Mario, and there is the end of it is them playing through the entirety of Super Mario Brothers 1 as a competitive thing, and I think that's really cool. It actually made me as excited as I was for Super Mario Maker 2, when we first saw that, and we were seeing all the different created levels. It was kind of that level of passion for that, where it's like, oh shit.
In a way,
this
it's
looks really
like
cool.
35 is back in spiritual form.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, no, it was really, I don't know, I was always kind of negative towards it. I know John's already pre-ordered it physically and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and,
I didn't need to watch the whole thing. I didn't need to be convinced.
But I mean, it was cool to see. Like, I was like, oh yeah, you can play. I like the way so you can play through all of Super Mario Brothers 1, but they give you hints. They're like, all right, so this is, and they call it classified information, which is a reference to the original Nintendo Power magazine that would say like classified information, where they gave you like codes and all that, which is pretty cool because I got a bunch of those on the other side of this wall in my basement right there. So I know all about it. But yeah, no, it was cool that was there. And yeah, no, and if you die, whatever, it just rewinds you to the beginning, and then you start again, and you keep going. But I felt like they did a really good job, like making it like an actual like multiplayer affair, you know, where it's like, you know, if you miss the tunnel or whatever, it'll just rewind you and be like, oh no, you got to go to this one. And it's cool the way they made it like a competitive thing, where it's like, all right, let's try to get through Mario Brothers 1 in 10 minutes, and if you die, we're just going to rewind you back to the beginning of the level, and then you can just keep going. You won't have to deal with game overs and that sort of thing. And I was like, all right, well, this could be fun.
So they're potentially making us play this again, but making it fun again because they know how to do that with Mario, I guess. I mean, they did that with, worse, the one they stole from us. And then, of course, Mario Maker 2 had the multiplayer stuff. I didn't play it much, but it was there. So theoretically, you could have done this a bit similar.
I would say one of us did. One of us put thousands of hours into it.
Right. So I don't know. I want to play it. I don't really need convinced otherwise, but I probably won't get it at launch.
It's coming out like next week, so I mean, there's.
Well, then I won't be getting it at launch for sure.
It's coming out like next week, and you know, we have an event in the neighborhood, well, in up here where I'm at, you know, for your pre-wedding party and all that. So.
Oh, that's right.
So I thought that we would be able to play. That game
next month
in particular. Yeah, but at the beginning of next month. But this game is coming out mid-July, so we will have it. I mean, John will have it. I mean, I'll have it as well. I'm just saying it would be really fun to play it. It'd be really fun to play local co-op together.
I agree.
You know, that sort of thing. And the fact that they have the speed run of Super Mario Bros. 1 is cool, but I would love to see other speed runs. What about Super Mario Bros. 2? What about Super Mario Bros. 3? What about Metroid? What about Legend of Zelda, the first one? Like, these would all be really fun.
Yeah, if Legend of Zelda had a
runs.
mode where two people could play, oh man, that'd be badass.
It
would take so long, but it'd be so cool.
That's the same way I feel about Metroid 1. Like, if we could do a Metroid 1 speed run, it's like, all right, well, first, actually, spoiler to later in the episode, I did beat Zero Mission, and then I was playing the NES game on the Game Boy Advance app, which even though I already could on the NES one, but I was going through it, and I was like, well, all right, so here's the long beam, but I got to go get the missile before I get to the long beam. So it'd be kind of fun to just like see them like just plot it out, be like, all right, you got to go here, and then you go over here, and then you got to go over there. And I mean, you know, I'm a huge Metroid fan, so I would love to see like a Metroid speed run would be a lot of fun.
Wait, so you're playing Metroid through Zero Mission? Wait, is it on Zero? Wait.
So when you beat Zero Mission, you unlock the original Metroid game on NES. And you can play it on your Game Boy Advance.
That's right.
Yeah. So I beat Zero Mission last week when we took a week off, and it unlocked NES Metroid, which I already had on the NES app. But I'm like, whatever, I love this game. So I started playing NES Metroid on the Game Boy Advance Zero Mission.
It's like an emulation, never-ending pit. Like you're playing the Game Boy Advance Metroid, and you unlock the NES Metroid, and you're playing it all on the Switch.
Pretty much. That's how it works.
Well, my hope for the Nintendo World Championships, and I think this is a reasonable hope, is that this is something where they just keep dropping surprises, almost in the same way that they're still feeding Tetris 99 up to this day. You know, like I think that they could drop a new game in there, you know, once a month or so, at least for the next 6 months while this game is still hot. You know, I think that could be cool. Like what's showing up in the NES or Nintendo World Championships, you know, this month, you know, that kind of thing.
Well, also, IGN has said this a couple times, and I feel like this is something that people have already said before that, but it's like they're like, all right, so this is Nintendo World Championship NES edition. They're like, well, in the titling of that, does that mean that there'll be a Super Nintendo or Nintendo World Championship Super Nintendo Edition, which we all kind of wanted that when we saw the NES Remix stuff, and it never happened. But that would be amazing if they did like a Super Nintendo version and an N64 version. I don't think they'll ever do a GameCube version, but at least just give me a fucking Super Nintendo version would be pretty rad. Like, let's do like, I mean, yeah, if you can do a speed run of Metroid, you can speed run of Super Metroid as well in there, or like I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can incorporate there, like Tetris Attack or Panel de Pon or whatever you want to call it, or you can incorporate like the Kirby golfing game that's on there, like Superstar, like there's just like a ton of games, or like Super Mario World, Yoshi's Island, like a lot of stuff you can bring into it that could be really, really cool.
So what were your thoughts on, since you watched the whole TreeHouse presentation, what happened? Give us the rundown.
Well, I mean, they basically kind of do it. I mean, I've watched a lot of the preview stuff that the various companies have done. And it's basically like, all right, so here's the opening thing. Here's like, all right, so you have to do these certain things in a certain amount of time, and they'll do those, and then they'll go to like the couch co-op stuff, and they ended with, let's go through all of Mario 1 and that sort of thing. That's kind of what brought me around to it, was seeing like a full playthrough of Mario 1. I was like, all right, well, cool, yeah, no, I'm into it.
I at least think it's cool that they're doing the TreeHouse live thing even without an E3. Just kind of
yeah,
throwing one out there.
E0, yeah. We've had E0 for like 3 weeks now or something like that. But we can move on from that. We've talked enough on it. I mean,
yeah, I'll talk more about it next week.
I was hoping that both of you watched it. You should have. But yeah, no, it made me more excited about it. I would love, I mean, we will all be hanging out at the beginning of August together, and it's going to be a lot of fun to just do like just a speed run through Mario Brothers 1. Yes, sign me up. That's going to be a lot of fun. So let's do that for sure.
Actually, it comes out on the 18th, so that'll be a week from tomorrow as of recording.
Yeah, I'm just saying a week from this week.
We'll be talking about 2 episodes from now.
Yeah.
Oh, Zelda 2's in this, huh?
No, I mean, yeah, no, Zelda. No, actually, they did do that in the video as well, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, what is pretty interesting about this game in particular is like, it's basically teaching people how to play old NES games. So it's like, all right, so if younger people are trying to get into it, let's try to teach you how to do this. So there's a whole thing with you fighting a boss from Zelda 2 in particular, and they did show that in the video, where like you have to jump and then hit from the top and then hit from the bottom. They try to explain to you how to do that mechanic, and like how quick can you do it now? Like, let's do it again and try to break your previous run and all that. And it seems pretty rad to me, so I'm into it.
But not Red Racer.
Well, no Rad Racer, no Tetris, but also the original Nintendo World Championships had like 3 games in it, and this one has like 15 games in it. So it's like, we got a lot more now than we did before. So, and this one has this thing called Online. We ever heard about Online? Yeah. They got Online on this.
That's true.
Yeah.
You could have just made a little corner of it that was just like, hey, this is just like the old one. Give it a try. That would have been great. Not too late. Maybe DLC.
Yeah, maybe we'll put Tetris and Rad Racer in there. But they didn't have Metroid in there originally, so they should have Metroid in there.
So we're halfway through the year. Does that mean it's time to start thinking about our favorite games of the year?
Yeah, no, I just so I've thought about doing this before on our podcast, about talking about games of the year, and a lot of times, not that much has come out when we get to it, but I knew there were a few that both of you have talked very passionately about. Like I mean, that's why I'm not going to go through all the lists that I put on there. I just put that on there just kind of as something for you to look at, to be like, oh, well, I want to talk about this one and that one or whatever. But I know, I was like, well, we should mention it because I know that John's been into some games. I know that Jeremy's been into some games. So I thought we'd do like a half year, best of so far sort of thing. We don't have to spend that much time on it. But yeah, there's some games in there. I mean, right off the top, there's like Balatro, Animal Well. Like, those are games. We had like a couple episodes on those where Jeremy was really into it, And there's
I'm still playing Balatro. Like, that game's really got hooks at me.
So yeah, I thought we could just like talk about some of our favorite games of the year. Since we missed last week, I'm not going to have as much passion as I did last week about Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble, but I do still think this game is incredible, and I still love it to death. So Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble is definitely up there in my top 5, if not top game of the year. And I can't wait till all of us will be in the same place and I can just hand Jeremy the controller and be like, here, just look at fucking Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble. It is brilliant. It's a really, really good game. So, and I beat it. I got to credits, and I've got to the post game where everything's harder, of course. But I think I'm like 15 levels in the post game. But I just love that it keeps going, and it's just the single player is so solid. The levels are like so unique. They're so different, like each one after another. And I can't wait for.
So it has a new mechanic, right? Like a boost mechanic.
It has a boost mechanic, yeah, and you can use the boost mechanic. Well. So there's like 3 different things. So you play through the level regularly, but there's also extra things. So you can it's like, all right, beat the level in this amount of time, or beat the level with the secret banana, or beat the level with this amount of bananas. So they give you like 4 different ways to play through the same level. But yeah, the boost mechanic will help you get through it quicker, and it's, you kind of just blast off in a certain way, and you might find out where you're going, and then that way, that sort of thing. So it's it's really good. Like it's I ended up buying the soundtrack too. Well for this podcast and for my own enjoyment, but it's a good time. So that's another one.
I was looking through my list of things that I've played that came from this year, and it's pretty small so far. But I mean, there's a few definite things that are definitely going to appear on my end of the year list. So like RZ, I love playing RZ. I beat that in a matter of a couple of days. I thought that was a great homage to the CDI games, and I felt like I was playing the games that I had always wanted to play but never got a chance to play, those Zelda CDI games. This is like, I don't know, it achieved what it aimed to do. It achieved basically being the 4th one of those games that never actually existed, and making it more palatable for a modern audience. So that was a cool game, a lot of fun. Plumbers Don't Wear Ties on the flip side, just like a bad game that had so much charm. I was really pleased to finally be able to play this game that I've been hearing about for a dozen years or so now.
And there is a part in the WAR2 radio that has a segment from Plumbers Don't Wear Ties in there in the last episode. Yeah.
I got to listen to that.
Of course, because I try to put parts of everything we talk about in every episode in there. But no, that's why I was thinking about it. I was like, well, Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. That came out this year, right? And it did on Switch. So that's why I wanted to put it in the list and all that. I was trying to put the list together to be like, hey, here's stuff that we've all talked about on here. So let's get into it.
It didn't, and then it actually had a reference to a spot, something from my real life. That was a big surprise that the final shot of the game is the final shot of the game is a shot of my old work in Glendale, California. I thought that was funny. Like, what a way to top off this horrible game with possibly the worst job I ever had. So perfect. Yeah, and then a game that I got to go back to at some point, Hitman Blood Money Reprisal. A non-starter for me, but it's because it just made me want to play the modern Hitman games, which are awesome. That's not a knock against this game.
I mean, I feel like that's been a lot of 2024. It's where you kind of forget. It was like, oh yeah, that game was this year, and it was I forgot there was the re-release of the older. It's like PS2 GameCube era for that one, right? Or no?
I think it was.
Yeah,
sounds about right.
Yeah,
a fine game in its own right. It's just like, I mean, the modern game is so awesome. Like, it just makes me want to play it. But I got to go back and give that a shot. And then one that's still sealed for me that I own and I've never played, Pentiment. I really got to give that a try.
Oh yeah, you went for that one, and
I did.
You played it for a second.
I forgot about that game. I've never played it.
I forgot about it too. It was on one of the indie directs, right, or something like that, or partner direct, or something like that.
It was talked up a lot in the games industry, but I haven't heard anyone talk about it in a long time. I forgot about it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it. As soon as I beat this other game that's cost me about 430 hours.
Well, I've just played Balatro a lot, and I think that it would be pretty hard for that not to be up high there for the year. But Animal Well was great. I did kind of fall off of that. I fall down it. I fell down it, then I fell off of it because I kind of got. I was in the end game and I was going around, and I just kind of got bored of scouring, so I just stopped playing.
Got bored of looking for eggs, right?
Yeah.
Because you said that was a lot of it. Like, I mean, well, I mean, you got to the first credits, right? And it was all like
Correct.
collecting eggs after that, and you
Yeah.
kind of fell off. But you were really passionate about it. I was pretty passionate about it for the first like week, and I haven't played it since. But
I mean, I just love how weird it is. Like those games certain games just stick out for their style alone, and that's it's got style all over the place, and then it's actually fun. The platforming's pretty satisfying. By the end of my time with it, I was flying all over the place with my little bubble gun and stuff. It was a good time.
I mean, but I would be pretty surprised if maybe Shadows of the Turd Tree or whatever it's called might be at your top, but I'd be surprised if Balatro was not up there for you at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been playing it for months. I really haven't slowed down on it that much. Maybe I don't play it quite as often, but
I want to know your time between the two systems, like because I think you got some 100 hours between Switch and PlayStation.
Oh,
5
easily. Because the PlayStation one I have is the one that I've got that I've unlocked the most in. Like I've completed half the challenges now, and I've unlocked all but a couple of the cards, and I think I only have like 2 decks left to unlock. So I mean, I'm pretty far into it now. As far as the platinum trophies and stuff go, nowhere near that. But I would be amiss if I didn't mention that I did get my first platinum this year. So even though Cat Quest came out like 88 years ago or whatever,
you got a platinum in that?
I did platinum it.
Nice.
Yes, I have my first ever platinum. So
there you go.
I mean,
really?
I'll mention it.
Oh, I thought. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you played, but I mean, sometimes
it's hard to get a platinum. Some of those games are really
not necessarily. Well, it depends on which games you played. Like some games just give you a platinum for beating them, depending on what they are. Like there were some.
I'd have to see.
There were some re-releases. What was it? There was a bunch of PS2 HD re-releases of like Sly Cooper and I don't know those other ones. Anyway, you got platinums just for beating those games. So I got a lot of platinums just from getting through them, just to the end, just credits.
For the uninitiated, what does that mean in the PlayStation lingo?
It's like trophies. So there's different.
Yeah,
things.
they're trophies. Yeah.
Most games, like if it was an adventure game or an RPG, it's going to be like beat this boss, do this, that, and the other, and that'll be like at least half of them. But then the other half will be more like obscure, like finding hidden things or like meeting certain conditions. Like
you have to. Yeah,
I don't know.
You have to do all the things to get the platinum. But there are some ones that are kind of easy. Like what was it? Jess and I played a Game of Thrones PlayStation 3 game where just beating the game gave you a platinum. So there are a lot of games where just getting to the end gives you a platinum. So it depends. It depends on what it is. So
it's like 100%ing the game on Sony's terms.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Exactly. So that's what I did, and Turd Tree. Well, we have yet to see what that's going to be like for me.
Yeah, we haven't talked about that yet, but I am curious. It always the Shadow of the Erd Tree. I had a friend in high school called his last name was Erdmeyer, and Shadow of the Erd Tree reminds me of Shadow of the Erdmeyer. Reminds me of that guy. He used to call himself Turd also. That's sort of where that came from. But he was in one of my art classes, and I made some art based on Mystical Ninja, and he actually talked to me about the Super Nintendo game, and I thought he was cool after that. So
I thought you were going to say you drew pictures of him like as a turd.
No. I actually gave him a VHS of me playing Mystical Ninja on 64. Be like, hey, here, try this out. Before the days of streaming, I was like, here's a VHS tape of me playing this game, just because you said you liked Mystical Ninja. So here, check out this new one. Because that was how hard it was to find video game friends in the 90s. Everybody's got it so well now. Before YouTube, before any of that other bullshit.
Yeah, before even real video, probably.
Well, I mean, there was VHS. you got to hook your Super Nintendo in your
Well,
VHS.
I meant like real video, like the extension that was like how you watched videos way back when.
I was going to say, we barely had internet. We had like those AOL CDs sent to us or whatever. But for me, Game of the Year, there's been a lot of them, actually. Well, I mean, I put a big list in here. But Balatro is great. Actually, one that I really loved, Slayer's X, Terminal Aftermath, Vengeance of the Slayer. I'm still hoping to get through that one, but I love the shit out of that game. And if you listen to our WRT radio, there's a lot of songs in there from that game, obviously, because I really enjoyed it. Cavern of Dreams, it was like a 64-inspired game. I had a good time with that. Fading Afternoon. I got a code directly from Yeo, the developer, and I did a review for it, that was pretty fucking amazing to get a review code from the maker of the game. And that's probably going to be up there as well.
Well, especially something that you were anticipating as much as you were. It wasn't like it was just, not
Some
to say
random
it,
free game, yeah.
right. I was gonna say, like, not to say those things shouldn't be appreciated, but it would be like if I got like I don't know, I can't even say it. I don't know what to say. I'm trying to think. I can't remember
Like
what
I
the name of
felt
the game
when we
was.
got the gimmick codes.
Yeah,
Oh, like Inscription 2 or
yeah,
something.
like that.
Like if I found out that was coming out and then the person that made Inscription gave me Inscription 2, I'd be like, what?
It was pretty cool because I had like messaged him before about being on the show, but he doesn't speak English, so he said no to us because of that. But I saw that he was offering codes out to people just to get reviews out there, and I was like, oh, gimme, because I was such a huge fan of Friends of Ringo Ishikawa when that came out, and I've been a fan because that game really blew me away when it came out, and it was cool to be like kind of on the front line for Fading Afternoon and all that. So yeah, that's a big one for me. And speaking of being friends with the developers and all that, not that it's saying anything less on the game, but Postal Brain Damage, we all got codes for that, and that's still up there for me on a big game of the year for sure.
Me too. It's fun.
I don't understand it.
It's a fun old school 90s first person shooter.
You have to pound a Surge Cola, then you'll understand it.
Yeah, you got to do a lot of things. So that one was a lot of fun. Let's see, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, that's on a lot of people's lists. It's not quite there for me yet because I had that whole save debacle on there.
Right.
But Little Kitty Big City was really fun. I like that. Pepper Grinder came out this year. I've actually never played any of it, but a lot of people liked it.
It's on sale this week.
It is on sale?
For like $10.
Kudzu, it's a Game Boy game that came to Switch this year, but I really, really like that game, and we did an interview with the developer, and we did get a code for that too, but I was the one who played through all of it, and I really enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was really good.
That was a really cool interview. I really liked how, because like we've had some pretty good interviews with, sort of getting the insider's view of like the development process and getting it approved to be on the Switch and stuff. These are all really cool things, but I really liked how this developer was like super into like the explaining like the inspiration for everything within it and like the stories behind each element of the game. And you don't get that sort of like an inside look at a piece of art very often, and it was so cool that he was just willing to be that like personal about what he made with us.
Yeah, it was fascinating how it came from an architecture class and stemmed from there, pun intended.
Yeah, no, he was really cool. Actually, I really enjoyed listening to that interview and editing that podcast because I always thought it would. I mean, I did a video of it and posted on Twitter and all that, but when he was like, you have to understand like creating games and you have to sort of break it. I thought that was really cool, and it still like stays with me and all that. I just love the way he talked about it, and I played through the whole game. I did both of the endings. There's two different endings. Like I went through and I got the bad ending, and then I got the better ending, and I love the game. And there's actually also on the WART radio episode, there's a couple of songs from Kudzu on there, and there's one of them. The main theme is still in my head. I still keep thinking of it, and it's really, really good. So there's a lot of good music in there as well. And it was a Game Boy game. That's the first time we've done one on a Game Boy game. And also it had a save. You could actually save it, which most of the games we get from 8-Bit Legit have no saves in it. It's all like passwords and whatnot. And this was the first one that had a saving mechanic in there. So that was pretty awesome. But yeah, I think we're good on that. We can move on to news stuff.
News. Don't snooze or you miss the news.
From there, anything you wanna talk about on there?
Yeah, there were a bunch of deals this week. Big sale. Yeah, ending on a lot of them are ending on the 15th. So act fast as you listen to this.
Well, this will be. Let's see, what day is it today? I mean, this will be posted on the 12th. So there's some time. But actually, one of my my nickname came from or my middle name or whatever came from a sale as well, which actually is ending on the 11th. So it'll be done before this gets posted to the masses and all that. Megaton Musashi Wired was a half off through the 11th. And it was
nice.
it was a game I really, really wanted to play, and I just was like, I just need to get it. I don't want to wait till the next sale. And it's a good game, so I was happy that I didn't wait. But that'll be later in the episode. It's a level 5 game. They're very good developers, and you can actually use what was it called? Yokai. There's Yokai Watch things in there that you could bring in for free. You can make your mech look like a fucking yokai or whatever.
The Taito Milestone games are on sale. This is a long time coming because I thought these both released at way too high a price for what was on offer. $40 was for both of them. That's what they each cost. The first one's on sale for $12. I think that's like around what it probably should have released for to begin with. So maybe I would grab that. The second one's $21.99. Still a little too high for me. Double Dragon: Rise of the Dragons. I've been thinking about this one.
Still taunting you.
As much as the art style disagrees with me, I don't know. I've heard people say it's pretty good. I just
Friends of the show that I stream with every week, Joe and Shake, love the shit out of that game. So they 100% put their seal of approval on there, and I mean, I don't deny their opinions. So I think it's probably pretty good. I thought about doing it, but I haven't had a sound job in a while, so I'm not just buying shit left and right here.
I just so want a Double Dragon game that looks exactly like the cover to Double Dragon 2. That like 80s anime badass thing.
Did you see that there was actually something from a Japanese magazine that happened today, but it's not coming to Switch. But there is like a new 3D Double Dragon coming out that kind of has that sort of a.
Oh.
Yeah, I should have.
I didn't see that.
I should have put on the Slack. I saw it earlier on Twitter. It was taken from a Japanese magazine. Let's see if I can find it.
Was it for PS5 or something?
It's not for Switch. It's for next generation. Maybe it'll be on Switch too. Who knows? But it looked pretty. I mean, it showed like the design of the characters and all that, and it looked cool.
New Double Dragon 3D game to arrive in 2025.
Oh yeah, you found it.
Comic book resources.
Double Dragon Revive is what it's called. Announced at this week issue of Famitsu. New 3D Double Dragon coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, and PC coming in 2025. But yeah,
developed by Technos Japan.
But the way the characters look, they look pretty good, I think. So,
I'm not seeing any pictures of it, but yeah, I'm looking forward.
I'll put on the Slack right now. You can take a look at it, real time.
Oh dang.
Okay, it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's not quite what I was. I will play. I'll definitely play it, and I'm looking forward to it. But what I was imagining for a 2D Double Dragon, I want one that looks just like the cover to Double Dragon 2. I just need that like 80s anime badass look translated to a video game. I guess the cover can't quite say that's anime, but it's anime-esque, that cover. Anyway, just make that into a video game, and I'll be pleased. What else is on sale this week? Unmetal, this had my eye. It's a parody of the Metal Gear games for $5. I've heard it's pretty good.
I was just listening to Retronauts talk about Metal Gear Solid while I was mowing the lawn outside earlier today.
Yeah.
So Metal Gear is sort of in my mind, but actually I'm planning on, so I have this plan because I realized that buying games on the Japanese eShop is much cheaper than buying games on the American eShop. So I'm planning on getting the Metal Gear Solid collection through the Japanese eShop because you can get it way cheaper, but I'm going to wait for it to go on sale, so it'll be even cheaper. Because as of right now, you can get it for $40 versus $60 on there. And a whole lot of other ones on there as well.
Hades is on sale for $10. I'm the only one on this podcast who has not played it.
I was going to put that on the Slack. I was going to be like, hey, John, you should try out Hades. That was Jeremy's game of the year when it came out. So
yeah,
try it out.
Do you have Netflix?
I do not.
Oh, is it on Netflix too? Like a free.
It's
games?
on the Netflix games. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mentioned Pepper Grinder already. The only other one that I was really interested in. Well, okay, I want to do Cocoon. Cocoon, I'll get at some point. That's $15. But this one, World of Horror, I've really been intrigued by this game. The Junji Ito look crossed with the what would you say, Commodore 64?
It's like $2 off, like $2 less. It's not that much.
Yeah, it's a bad sale. It's only $2 off. But that game still looks cool, and I'm intrigued by it.
Yeah, I do remember seeing it. Yeah, it has kind of that like pixely horrorness to it. So cool.
And Nintendo's adding multiple upcoming releases to its voucher program. So for those of you who do that,
Well, all basically, well, I mean that's kind of what I was getting at with the Japanese prices versus the American prices. Yeah, all the stuff from the last direct, they're adding it to the to the voucher program. But if you have a Japanese account and you actually go to the Japanese eShop, it's kind of wild. Like these games are less like Luigi's Mansion 2 and and Donkey Kong Country Returns. Like these are actually a small are like less of a price versus like Mario and Luigi Brothership and and Echoes of Wisdom and all that. It's actually is priced less on the actual Japanese eShop, and you can get them for cheaper if you have an account on there and you want to go to Play Asia and get a Japanese credit card and all that. Or you have to buy eShop cards through Japan, but you can actually, yes, you can buy, as of right now, you can buy Luigi's Mansion 2 for $40 on the Japanese eShop versus the $60 price that is here. And that's, and yes, I understand there's an exchange rate between American prices and but between the US dollar and the yen dollar and all that. But still, if you look at the actual prices, they are less than the new releases. They are still priced under that. So I don't know. I've seen people posting all the time, be like, "Oh my God, $60 for that." I'm like, get a fucking Japanese account. Like I was planning on doing that. I was like, once I get another audio job, I'm 100% buying Luigi's Mansion 2 from Japan for $40 because they have all the languages on there. Get Google Translate on your phone, point it at your TV, and it'll if there's more than one language, then there's an American language on there or there's an English language on there. So yeah, you can figure it out. And you can make it work, and you can get games for much cheaper on your Japanese account. So, yeah, that's how you get around that stuff. It's pretty wild that the prices are so much different over there than they are here. It's kind of crazy.
a couple of new games out this week: Spy X Anya, Operation Memories. I remember seeing that on a direct recently.
Yeah, Jeremy.
Did you say you've seen the anime before?
You mentioned that one because you watched the anime.
Yeah. I don't know anything about the actual game, but I've watched all the episodes that are available of the anime.
It kind of looked like a cozy game from what I saw of it.
It's not a very cozy show. I mean, it's got elements of that, but generally, even when they're on vacation in this show, it's not so vacation-y.
I watched a little bit of it. I was like, this show isn't Japanese enough. That's what I thought when I saw it. But I'm sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, because aren't they not in Japan? Aren't they British or something?
It's kind of no, they're in Japan, but it's like a fake world, but it's like basically a continent, and you've got the East and the West, and they're not really at a war with each other, but they're collecting intelligence on each other, and so yeah, that's where the spy thing comes from. Because the mom, it's like a family, and they're all together, and part of the whole point of the show is that they're actually, the mission is them being a family, and they don't know who each other are. So the mom character is actually an assassin, but she has to keep it secret. And the father character is the most elite spy in the country. Also, the mom's brother is the lead spy for the other country, of course. And then but nobody knows anything. And then it all comes down to the only one who knows anything that's going on is the little girl, because she's psychic and she can read minds. So she has to make sure no one knows about her.
I do remember that part of it. I thought that was established pretty early.
And then there's a dog there's this really smart dog. It's pretty cute.
Was it 2 weeks ago? I talked about how I got all this shit from my mom or whatever. And we got an exercise bike. And I have an exercise bike down here, and I've been doing it on the regular. And the idea I always wanted to have a exercise machine in my house, and I could just do it and watch One Piece. So I've watched 6 episodes of One Piece while doing my exercise bike. So I re-upped my.
Do you pretend like you're biking through the ocean?
No, I just want to put something on that'll distract me enough away from working out, because I hate working out. But I was like, put something on that will intrigue me. And actually, I got back into One Piece. I went, what was it? I started watching it 105, and I'm at 110 now. So I watched 5 episodes. But yeah, It's good. It's a good show.
That's smart.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So I wanted to do like, all right, I'll do a thing for 30 minutes and I'll watch something that I like for 30 minutes. And yeah, One Piece is what I've been doing as well.
Well, you're going to run out eventually, so you might think something else to watch afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, there's 1,000 some episodes. I'll be good for a long time. That's what's fun about One Piece is you got a lot of episodes left, and you don't have to watch that fucking stupid live action one that's on Netflix. I mean, the great thing about the live action one was it just made me want to watch the animated one again. So brought me back to the good shit. I was like, oh yeah, this is cool, but I'd rather watch the real show.
There's a new game in the Egg Console series, Hot Full Mail. You ever played this one, Trey?
I don't. Yeah, I don't know what this is. So it's on the Egg Console.
I remember.
So it's probably all in
this
Japanese.
name.
It's from Falcom, so you may be interested.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like back and forth on the Egg Console. Yeah, they have ease games on there, but they're all in Japanese. Why are they not in English? I bought one and I didn't know about it until I already bought it, and then it was all in Japanese. I'm like, what the fuck?
And this is an RPG, so
Yeah. I was kind of like, I mean, cool, you're putting out stuff that was on like an old console, but shouldn't we have language options? I don't know. I was yeah.
It is an odd choice to put it out in English language countries with no English.
Yeah, I was so fucking bummed about Ease 1 because I really wanted to fucking play that game, and it was all in Japanese. And I mean, I played a lot of the battle stuff and I leveled up, but I was like, I have to get my fucking phone out with the Google Translate, and this is how I have to play it. And I'm like, I don't want to play it like that. I want to just be able to fucking read it or whatever. But yeah. Anyway, but also Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak came out this week, which I think is pretty cool. There's a demo available for it. The only reason I'm interested in it, I watched the Switch Up review of it, and they have the option. You can do, there's an action combat and there's a turn-based combat, and you can choose however you want to do it. So you can play it all action RPG or you can play it all turn-based RPG, and I think that's really fucking cool. I've never seen a game that's ever done that, so I'm intrigued by it. It's $60, so who knows if I'll get it ever, but I think it's really rad that there's a game that exists like that. And it's a Trails game, but it actually, you can like play it outside from, doing Tales in the Sky or whatever. I know there's a million games that happened before this one. You can actually play it aside from that, so that's pretty rad. Also, DLC, Nintendo Switch Sports Basketball came out. Anybody play this one?
I know we all jumped on that, right?
No, nobody played this one. I didn't play. I mean, if you guys played it, I'd be surprised as fuck. But no, I didn't play it. I mean, honestly, I don't give a shit about basketball. But yeah, it reminded me of Wii Sports Resort. There was basketball in that, and I was like, this shit's boring. I don't give a shit about this. So yeah, it's there. I watched some like YouTube stuff about it. I watched like Game Explained did like a stream of it. I watched a little bit of that, but yeah, whatever. Who cares?
You play horse is all that matters.
Yeah, but I know somebody who does care about the next thing. Hitman World of Assassinations got some DLC coming up or out now.
An elusive target. It's another elusive target. So these are the ones for people who don't remember that are only available for a certain window of time, and you get one chance to do them, and then it's gone forever. So it's high stakes. If you fail, you can never play it again. If you win, you get all the glory. And this one is notable because it features Conor McGregor, the MMA guy. And so the premise of this takes place on the Isle of Scale level, which, for those who don't know, it's an elite private island in the middle of the ocean. It's kind of like with this dark, eyes wide shut vibe. There's like the ocean is like the waves are crashing all around. It's like a very intense atmosphere, and this is like the place where all the elite of the world go to party and let loose and do unspeakable things. And so there's this glass building at the peak of the mountain. It's kind of like sounds like a big mountain, and there's this glass building at the peak, which was there always. It's not new for this DLC, but this time they've refashioned it as sort of the centerpiece where this MMA fight is happening. And there's this tech CEO who's obsessed with MMA, who's competing and just kind of like buying his way into MMA glory. And Conor McGregor has hired you to kill him. So that's the premise. That's live until
Conor McGregor. Yeah, that's funny. It's funny because Conor McGregor is somewhat infamous for attacking his opponents outside of the ring. So for him to be hiring you to kill somebody is kind of fucked up.
Yeah,
Like
it's him too.
one time he was like got into a big altercation. I'm trying to remember how the story went exactly, but he got in this big altercation with several other fighters, and then they got onto a bus. And as the bus was driving away, he threw a chair at the bus and broke the window, and it like the glass got into a few of the fighters' eyes, and they like
Oh,
missed
Wow.
matches over it.
Wow.
Which is kind of crazy
Wow.
that he was like, "I'm going to throw this chair so they're out of the matches," and he was able to do that. But still, it's like, are you really going to have yourself be in a game where you hire someone to kill an opponent? Really?
yeah, and he's not playing a character either. He's playing himself. He's got a McGregor tattoo and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He has a tattoo that says, "I am McGregor. This is who I am. Don't say that I'm not."
It's a logo. It's just got the big logo on his chest from like the old McGregor clothes. You know what brand I'm talking about? It's like a sportswear brand back in the 80s.
McGregor.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to playing this. I'm definitely going to play it at some time. I haven't gotten to it because of Tears of the Kingdom, but I will absolutely play this because it looks cool. And those exclusive targets are really fun. They're really unique ways to spice up the game that's now, 4 years old, this game? I'm surprised and
You love that game.
grateful that they keep supporting it the way that they do.
I think we talked about it in 2020, right? Because we did that episode with Janet. It like in the
I
pandemic.
think it came out
and all that,
2021.
right?
I think it was January of 2021 is when it came up, at least to Switch anyway.
I don't know. I have a poster over here with the picture of.
But then it just turned to World of Assassination like a little over a year ago, right? Or maybe
It did,
longer.
yeah, around a year ago.
No, they have no. I don't think they have any plans anytime soon to make a sequel. They're just going to keep iterating on.
No, they
this.
don't, because they're
The
working on the
games for
James Bond.
service. Yeah.
Yeah,
What's
they're
that?
working on the James Bond game, so
Oh,
their team has moved on. And I think there's probably a small team over there who's focusing on keeping this game alive until
but
then.
you don't think like, okay,
I mean, they're still there. Yeah, no, you're right. It was 2021, January 20th of 2021. But no, I mean, at least they're supporting it much more than this next game we're going to talk about. AEW Fight Forever has its final DLC of ever, is what we think. Jay White came out today. Actually, I was trying to run it on the back over here, but I've been but I put it on the Fright Forever, the horror level, and it's way darker than I thought it would be, so you can't really tell what it is. But what came with Jay White was also a tournament mode where you can actually and I've actually been doing tournament mode with computer players to be like, oh, who is truly the strongest character of AEW Fight Forever. We actually did have a really good stream on Monday, one of our best streams. But if you go to twitch.tv or go to youtube.com/NintenDomain podcast, you can watch our stream on there. But we had some really good matches. We had a really good 2.5 hours of AEW Fight Forever, kind of toasting to the end of it because we all think this is the last of it. But who knows? I mean, I haven't seen Dynamite tonight. Who knows? I don't know where Tony Khan might be like AEW Fight Forever 2 coming out in 2 months. Who the fuck knows? But or the next DLC or whatever. But it was the last part of this, Jay White, whatever. I mean, his finishing move is the Blade Runner, which I think is cool because that's one of my favorite movies ever. So, all right, that's good. But they added it with the tournament mode. We don't know if we can use it online or not. We'll find it out next. We'll find out about it next week when we do our stream, when our regular wrestling stream. But yeah, it's fun that we still have people that care, like me and like 3 other people. We still care about AEW Fight Forever, but. It's great when it works, damn it. It's great when it works, and it worked really well on Monday, and we had some really good matches. So, we had some real good shit. So, yeah, the finale, the final version of whatever season that is. Speaking of which, Shake just texted me and said, "Hey, you want to play AEW?" No, I'm recording a podcast, dude. We'll talk later. Huh. But yeah. No, it was so good that one of the people that was on the stream is already saying like, "Hey, we gotta play again, man. It was so good." All right, so some stuff happened on the July 4th week or whatever. We got new NES stuff. Did you guys play any of these, like the Cobra Triangle, Solar Giant?
I tried each one for a little bit just because I wanted to say I tried all of them.
Oh, okay. I didn't play any of them.
I only tried Urban Champion, which
Urban Champion is awful.
Fun,
That's a terrible game. It was already there in an arcade form. It's an awful game. Don't play that game.
No, I wouldn't say it's awful. It's a very simplified fighting game.
I wouldn't say it's
Very
awful, but I would never
fighting.
say it's good or fun or enjoyable or anything like that. Like I never had
So
a
I'll
good
tell
time
you,
with
I'll
that
tell you,
game.
there's one thing about this game that's really cool, and it's the only thing that I
You can
like,
punch somebody into a manhole. Like that's kind of fun.
Well, no,
Yeah.
I guess that's fun, but no, when the cop drives by, the two guys that are fighting just kind of go.
Yep, they
It's
will
like
Oh,
pretend
yeah.
like nothing.
Yep.
Yeah.
You just
That's
pretend
funny.
like nothing's going on when the cops go by. Mind your p's and q's until they're fucking out of here.
Sure.
It's not a deep game, but it's got charm.
Sure.
It's got a little bit of character to it.
About as deep as a New York manhole.
Yeah. I mean, you probably know it as well, Jeremy, right? Because it's like I knew of it most from like WarioWare, like where you just like do the
Yeah.
uppercut and you just knock them right into the sewer, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of fun. And I did
You've got the asshole dropping flower pots on your head.
And I did play the arcade version, whatever, on Switch, and I bought it. I paid full price for it because I wanted to play the official version of it or whatever. But I don't know, it still didn't really do much for me. Like when I played it in its entirety or whatnot. So
I tried a little bit of Donkey Kong Junior math, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing in that game. I mean, I know math.
you got to
I
put
don't think I don't know
numbers
math.
together, right? That's how it works.
I know math, but this makes me think I don't anymore.
Yeah, I never played Donkey Kong Junior Math. I mean, I've seen videos of it, but isn't it like you hit one thing and another thing and piece them together or whatever, that sort of thing?
I don't know.
I mean,
All I knew is
you
that
know
I
more than
climbed
me.
some vines and I
played
didn't know
it
what the hell
since
was
I have.
happening.
All I want. So Cobra Triangle is the boat game, right? The one where you
That
race
game's
around.
actually kind of fun.
I was gonna say that's the one I'm interested in because there was another. You remember there was the other boat game they put on there?
Eliminator Boat Duel.
Yeah, that game was
Yeah.
awesome. Like I had a fucking blast with that game. So it reminded me of that one because I almost played through all of it like one night before we podcasted, where I was just right before I played through multiple levels like in like 20 minutes before we started.
I think
And
that
was
one
like,
was a little deeper because couldn't you like upgrade your boat and stuff?
Yeah, you could. Actually, that game was really
This
good.
game,
I
as
really
far as
liked
I can
that
tell,
game
this
a
is
lot.
just a level by level, adventure
okay.
game, or not adventure, but it's a shooter, but it's like isometric. So you got the tank controls.
Oh,
to deal with.
That's a shame. Because that other boat game was a ton of fun. But yeah, these were the ones that came out on NES. There they are. We have a NSO trial of Mario plus Rabbids. I downloaded it, but I haven't played it yet, and I might not at all before next week. Who knows? But I guess the good
Still
thing
not
is
interested.
aside from the demo, because I was like, how is this different from the demo? The demo you can play through the intro, but it doesn't carry over to the game. But if you played the demo and you go to the game, you don't have to play the intro again. Good for you. Whatever. I don't know. I figured I'd try it. I don't know. Whatever. But Cho Aniki is coming back, which I thought was pretty cool. It's Aniki.
Yeah.
Is how you pronounce it. I knew that name because I heard it in Yakuza so many times. And a movie that maybe a franchise that people have heard of, Star Wars, Anakin was based off of Aniki. This is one more extra letter on there.
George Lucas was a big fan of this series.
No, George Lucas was a huge Japanese freak. Like seriously, he was big in like all of fucking Star Wars is based on old Japanese movies. Like you know that, right? Like Akira Kurosawa movies. It all came from all that shit. Like Forbidden Fortress is the original Star Wars movie. He stole everything from old Japanese cinema. But yeah.
I know he loves Joe and Iki. He'll be first in line to buy this new game that's going to come out. This is so there was a tease.
Aniki.
It's not been officially announced, but there's a Twitter account named Cho Aniki Collection.
Yeah, I'm into it. Let's do it. I would totally buy that. It'll be fun.
For old time's sake, I would have to buy it for you.
Sure. Well, but no, you don't have to. I can buy it on my own. But no, I always wondered. Well, like I said, I heard the term Aniki multiple times on Yakuza games. But yeah, Aniki means like big brother, which I thought was like boss also. But yeah, you can tell Lucas like Anakin was like his first character he ever wrote. But it's Aniki plus one letter. He was heavily influenced by Japanese stuff. But yeah, no, I'm into it. I want to play it. I want to play the Cho Aniki collection. Sounds badass. Let's do it.
Now, this is the most
Yeah, this is
mysterious.
interesting.
But
Oh
It
yeah,
reminds me of Altered Beast in the way it looks in a strange way. It's got that same kind of style. The
I love
Are you not-
hyper realistic muscle men.
I loved
Are you
I love
familiar
Altered
with
Beast.
Joe Anarchy, or have you played one of the games before, Jeremy?
I'm just watching a video of someone playing it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, there's a lot of muscle men in this one.
Yeah, they're just shmups with muscle men instead of spaceships.
Yeah, John got me
Yeah.
John, back in the day of the Wii where you could send presents to people. You sent me a game present of it, and it was fun. I mean, I like the weird Japanese-ness of it. And if there's a Cho Aniki collection, sign me up. I'm into it. I want to play it. I'm down. I'll throw money down for that. Let's do it. And you don't have to. You don't have to pay for it. I will pay for it on my own. But I'm
I don't
interested.
even like the shmups, but I just love the weirdness.
But I'm interested. So Nintendo had a weird announcement like today before we even started recording this.
Yeah,
Of this Emio thing. Like, I don't even know what to think about this. It's
just like a 15-second.
like
video of
a guy with a bag on his head. Yeah.
I don't know what's so disturbing about it. It's like this may be disturbing, and I had to put my age in to see it.
I think
It's
it's
this guy with
just
the bag on his head.
I think it's just people are just weirded out by a Nintendo produced horror game. Like, we've never really seen
And it is M-rated.
we've never really seen a Nintendo horror game. This is coming directly from Nintendo with a person.
I
Like
don't know
they
if-
developed it.
You
Do
know,
you think
no,
it's
Nin-
Fatal
like-
Frame?
no, Nintendo made it. Yeah, Nintendo completely is making. Well, I mean, the whole reason that people are talking about it is it was posted from Nintendo's Twitter, like Nintendo's all the different countries, like Nintendo UK, Nintendo Japan, Nintendo America. They all posted this like 15-second trailer of this guy with a bag on his head, and I saw.
It has the Nintendo logo on it. Like it's very
Yeah,
clearly
it's-
this is made by Nintendo.
Yeah,
but
it's
it
coming
is,
directly from
So
Nintendo.
I was going to
like
say
Nintendo game.
I thought Eternal Darkness, but that was like Silicon, or yeah, it was like Silicon Knights.
Silicon
right?
Knights,
Yeah,
but
that's what they
but
celebrate.
but the presentation of it like looks nothing like a Eternal
No,
Darkness.
but I'm
Yeah.
saying as far as like a Nintendo horror game, like wasn't that kind
Sure,
of?
yeah.
Didn't they like at least publish
There's
it? or
that.
Well, yeah,
something?
they did produce that or publish it or whatever.
The other one is Fatal Frame. Do you think it's Fatal Frame?
No, I don't think so.
No,
I mean,
no, I would imagine it's something new.
I'm interested.
It's pretty cool because it's been a long time since we've had any new Nintendo IP. The last one was what, ARMS?
Well, I mean,
7 or 8 years ago.
I mean, definitely not. Well, I mean, when have we ever seen Nintendo horror though? Like a horror game from Nintendo?
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm saying. It's even
Yeah.
doubly strange
Yeah.
and welcoming and cool. Great. Doing Nintendo doing like something new and something that's more adult oriented. Cool.
I saw a funny post about it where it's like, this game is actually a post about Switch 2. Switch 2 will actually be a bag that you put on your head, and that's how you play it. I saw somebody post that online, and I was like, that's funny. So I did see that. I was like, all right, yeah, sure, why not?
They actually just
Virtual Boy
use
was
parts
red.
from.
it's like
Now it's
Labo.
They use the old parts from the Labo.
It's like Labo, but just put in a bag and just put it in your
It's
face.
Bago.
There you go. Yeah, Bago. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I saw a lot of people talking about it like today. It's like, oh yeah, Nintendo, let's do horror. I remember there being an IGN article from Matt Casamassina and Mark Bozon being like, I wish that Miyamoto would do a horror game. I mean, I don't know if this is directly from Miyamoto, but kind of along the same lines. It reminded me of that article they put out.
Yeah, let's see some of
Years
the darker
ago,
moments
you
of his childhood.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we had
The
Majora's
pendulum has to swing the other way.
It has to.
I mean,
Finally.
we had Majora's Mask. That was a pretty fucking scary ass game. It's my favorite Zelda still, but it's got a lot of scary shit to it. It's fun. So we got announcements for new games. Star Wars Bounty Hunter is coming out the 1st of August. Yes, I'm into this. I want it. Even though I already own it on GameCube, I love this game. It's going to be a lot of fun. I was actually describing it on one of another wrestling stream that we did a couple weeks ago. I was describing it to one of the people on there. I was like, "Hey, because we were playing Star Wars Hunters," and I was like, "Oh yeah, Star Wars Bounty Hunter got announced, and Star Wars Bounty Hunter is actually the story of why Jango Fett became the like what they made all the clones into, all the stormtroopers from Attack of the Clones and all that. It's basically the story of like why is he the thing that we use for all these other things. So why is he the formula for the clones? But I thought it was great at the time. I had a blast with it on GameCube when it came out in 2002. So I'm excited to have it re-released. It's a great year for Star Wars games. If you guys loved old Star Wars games, there's a lot of really good ones on Switch. We got Dark Forces, probably the best one, and then we had the Star Wars Battlefront games, which are really fun as well. And now we have this as well. So yeah, if you like Star Wars, play fucking Star Wars on your GameCube. Or on your Switch, not on GameCube. But we have GameCube games on Switch, so hooray. And also, finally, Boku no Natsuyasumi, the newest version, which is called Natsuman 20th Century Summer Kid, which is almost a T-Rex song, right? It's almost 20th Century Boy, but not quite there. But, yeah. Anyway, it's coming out the 6th of August for $40, and there's going to be a demo out on the 30th of July in a few weeks, so I've actually already downloaded the Japanese demo of it, so I'm excited because, I had a lot of fun with Shin-chan, with the Shin-chan version of Boko, but it's different. It's too Shin-chan and not enough Boku no Natsuyasumi. But anyway, I'm excited. Let's play it. I'm into it. Let's relive the Japanese summer of the 80s or whatever. That's what it's all about. I don't know what Neva... Do you want to say anything about Neva or Sigma Star Saga? We can skip those.
Yeah, there was a trailer for this game called Neva, which looks pretty cool, which is like a cinematic platformer, the genre that I love. I don't know, it's nice animation. It looks sort of ethereal and beautiful. So it's got my attention. Sigma Star Saga, which is from Way Forward. It's a re-release of a GBA game. It's going to be revived for modern platforms coming next year at some point. And then we got some announcements about Ys.
Yeah, we got to talk about this, obviously, because Ys is one of my favorites. One of my favorite series. So Ys, Oath of Elgana is already out in Japan for Switch owners. But we know there's going to be an American translation coming out next year. So there's another thing for 2025 for Switch owners. Cool. There's that there. But the big thing for me is Ys 10 finally got a release date. It's coming out at the end of, towards the end of October 25th of this year. So, hooray.
Ooh, this might be the big holiday release.
Well, I mean, for me, Ys 8 was my game of the year for whatever year that came out. 2019, maybe? I think it was 2019 or 2018, one of those. Anyway, but whenever there's a new Ys game, in my mind, I'm like, all right, Ys, whatever, game of the year. So, but actually, Ys 10 is really good, and I've played the demo. I played the Japanese demo of it, and it's pretty solid. So, it looks good on Switch. So, yeah, I've been waiting for a long time, and I've actually already bought this game on Amazon. So they will send it to me because I got the physical copy because it was the same price. So they haven't charged me for it yet, and according to Amazon, it still doesn't have a release date, but according to the internet, it does. So we'll see. But yeah, no, Ys 10, I'm very excited. It looks very cool. It's hooray. But yeah, we can move on to your what you've been playing, John. If you want to run through it, right?
Sure,
now.
Yeah.
Sorry, not a whole lot of time.
I got a jet soon, so this is what I've been playing this week, or what I tried to play this week, rather. I tried to play some other games besides Tears of the Kingdom, but fate told me no. I really tried. I downloaded a demo for a game called The Many Pieces of Mr. Coup, which is a game that has intrigued me since it came out. The animation looks really beautiful. It looks like it reminds me a little bit of like some French animation, like Sylvain Chaumet, that director, the Triplets of Belleville. It looks a little bit like that, or it looks a little bit like Bill Plimpton's cartoons, like that kind of style. Which
sounds like a bus driver song. There's like a bus driver song where he's like I know all about the different pieces of Mr. Coup, who occasionally takes trips to the moon. Yeah.
It's like a limerick or something.
Yeah, no, it's there's a line in Fear of a Black Tangent, I think, it's similar to that, but yeah.
Is because of the decent Mr. Coon, who occasionally takes trips to the moon.
I downloaded the demo to this because the game's on sale for $10, and I was like, I don't know, maybe I'll get it. I don't know. And the demo doesn't work. It just straight up doesn't work. I tried 5 times.
What?
Every single time. I've never encountered this before with the Switch
make any sense.
game. The demo does not start up.
I mean, whatever system it is, I've never run into a demo that doesn't work. Like what the fuck? Like I don't even understand.
It disconnects the controller every time. Maybe it's just some incompatibility with the 8-bit DOE. I don't know, but I've never had the game 5 times in a row disconnect my 8-bit DOE.
Is there any chance you have to use the Joy-Con to play it?
Yeah, there was one. What was it? There was that one that Anyway, there was early time of Switch. There was that one game, Yono, the Yono game, that only used would only use the Joy-Con, so I couldn't get it to work with the classic controller or the Pro.
I had that thought, and I went back to the eShop and confirmed you can play with the Pro controller. I did not try it with the Pro controller proper, but usually that means you can play it with any.
You should be able to play with it normal.
I mean, it'll recognize it as a Pro controller no matter what it is. Yeah, if it's a 8-bit DOE, it should work fine.
So I was bummed, and I was like, well, I'm not going to buy the game if it's not going to work for
yeah, right.
What if the game doesn't work with my controllers?
Obviously, you 100% failed there because the demo's supposed to like make you feel like supposed to make you be like, all right, this game is cool. I can play it on my own. But the demo doesn't work. I haven't even heard of this.
The demo doesn't work.
You obviously fucked up. You fucked
Give it
up
a try
royally.
See if it works for you guys. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one.
I want to try it now. What's it called?
The Many Pieces of Mr. Koo.
Oh yeah, Mr. Koo occasionally takes a trip to the moon. Yeah, no, yeah, I'll have to try it out, and I'm actually I really want to see. I was like, because demos should work, because otherwise, what are you doing? Like, if your demo doesn't work, what the fuck is the point, right?
Yeah, and then so another game that I mentioned, I think I mentioned this on the podcast before, but there's a remake of Riven out now on PC and Mac.
Yeah, but not switching.
I've been really looking forward to this because Riven is like a classic game. I still have the copy, right over there in the other room from back in 1990. Was it 7 or 98 that it came out? Yeah, a long time ago. It's a sequel to Myst, and I just have a soft spot in my heart for this game. Like it wowed me back in the day, and it was whatever you think of. I imagine most gamers our age have tried Myst, but maybe some have not tried Riven. So whatever your impression of Myst was, you might amplify that with Riven. Like it just stepped into a whole nother world. Like you had the live action video integrated well with the CG backgrounds, and like to see people walking around in those environments, and like it was kind of mind blowing at the time. And the puzzles were really well done, and the world was just bigger. It was everything that you liked about Myst, but just done bigger, done more polished, and the imagination just amplified. And so I really love Riven, and I was looking forward to playing this, and I bought it for $35 on sale, and it came in a bundle with the new game and the old game. So that was cool. Like I was going to get to play the new game and the old game on my Mac, and it doesn't work. So,
what?
Again, it doesn't work.
What
doesn't work?
What doesn't work about it?
On my computer, because my computer, my MacBook, is the last generation of Intel processors.
Oh, and
so I bought it. I guess it was a new computer when I bought it. It was new by I think it was like 10 months old. It was like less than a year old when I bought it, that model. But I had the misfortune of buying it just 4 months before they announced the new
the M2 or
MacBooks
the M3 or whatever
with the Apple processors. Yeah. And so everything just, even though I bought a new computer for $4,000, everything immediately migrated to the Apple processors, and there was certain software that only could be used with that software.
Welcome to the world of Apple fucking you over.
Yeah,
I mean it
really didn't bother me.
They don't.
It hasn't bothered me much because I just tend to use my computer for the internet or for writing and that kind of thing, not so much for gaming.
For games, yeah.
But I was still like when I saw that it was available on Mac, and I'd been burned by this issue before, but it didn't say specifically in the specifications that it has to be the M2 processor. It just didn't. So I was set up to believe that this was going to work, and it just didn't. And this is like a week or two ago now, so my memory is a little fuzzy on it. But basically, I just know that's the issue. I got the old processor, and it's not the M2.
Were you
So I
able
can't
to
play
like
this game.
send it back?
Yes, I got a refund.
Okay.
Which was pretty easy, pretty quick.
I bought I bought a thing for Steam once where it didn't work for my computer, and I was able to send it right back, and they refunded me.
Yeah,
so.
within 12 hours, I got a refund.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. So thank you to Steam for that. But I ended up buying the and the Riven, the old Riven didn't work either. I didn't understand that why didn't the old one work? Didn't work. So I got them both refunded. I ended up buying the old one again just on a chance. I was like, well, maybe, being part of the bundle or something, maybe that messed it up because the other game didn't work. But I ended up buying the old one again for $2. It was on sale for $2. It was worth a try. It still doesn't work. So, yep. So no, it was no go for other games this week. So I slid back into the comfort of Tears of the Kingdom. Probably put another 15 hours or so into that this week, maybe 20 hours. Basically, just been trying to check off everything on the to-do list. I was looking for pictures for the stables. That was, I guess, the big thing this week. I just totally missed the fact that there were these empty frames at all the stables. I just never investigated them. And
I never did that either.
yeah, I went over and I found one. I was like, oh, wait, there's like this empty frame here. And oh, wait, there's empty frames at all the stables. And so at every stable, you have to take a picture that the owner is requesting, like go stand on top of a mountain and take a picture at sunrise and all that. So it's been a nice way to tour the world again while also picking up a couple of other random quests that I missed along the way and other items that I've missed. So that's been what I've been doing this week. But yeah, other than that, that's been pretty much it. So
You got a new TV.
I did get it. Oh yeah, you're right. Good catch. I did get a new TV this week. My friend was moving out, and I helped him to clean up his apartment. And he just said, "Hey, do you want this TV?" I said, "Sure." So I put his TV that he gave me into my office, which I intend to use as a second screen for my computer. And I took that old TV that was there and I moved it here into the podcast room, which I guess the silver lining of the whole Riven escapade was that it got me thinking about, what, I think I would like to have an area just for gaming on the computer, because I don't want to play games on my computer in the office. I want to leave the office as a sacred space just for doing work. So that when I step into the office, I feel like doing work because I'm pretty fastidious about that. I don't even eat in there. That's my space for working. And an effect of that is that when I walk into that room, I actually feel like working. It's like a good psychological trick. So I thought, where else could I have used this TV? Oh, I'll put it in the podcast area, and that'll be like my little computer gaming station.
You could always do. You could get to God level and just have two TVs next to each other, like I do. You can go to God tier and just have like two TVs next to each other, and you can watch something and play games at the same time, or you can watch the same thing on both TVs. I do that. It's crazy. Watch the same thing on both TVs. I actually do that every Wednesday. It's fun, but yeah.
Actually, the way this little area is set up, I could do three. I've got this little, like, my podcast area here it's a large closet at the front of my apartment, connected to the living room where I do all the other gaming stuff. There's a desk in this closet. It's almost like, I think this space was intended to be like a sewing room. This might be an old building or something. There's like this big desk that's built into the closet, and it's got the desk has a hole, like as if you could, for running wires and stuff down. Mm. So that's what I think it was. I think it was a sewing closet, but I'm using it as a podcast area. And now I guess I'm going to try to start using it as a computer gaming area, even when I can get some computer games to work, which I do have, like, DOS box could still work on there. So I can play some old DOS games.
So I take it none of your TVs, like, you can't, like, they're not internet TVs, right? You can't, like, stream your computer to the TV, like that sort of thing.
The one that Rich just gave me is.
So why don't you put that in the living room? Is it smaller than the other one? Like, because then you can.
I put that one in the office because I want to use that as a monitor.
Okay.
And
Well, I'm
then-
just saying, if you wanted to do the thing where you play shit on your computer, but you don't play it on your computer, you could stream it to your TV. Like that sort of thing.
It's more about the room itself.
Yeah, but then you wouldn't have to be
you know
in
what I
the
mean?
room. You could be in your other room, and you could stream. I mean, if you can, if it's an internet TV, you can airdrop anything from your phone or whatever other thing that you have. You can just airdrop it to the TV. That's the other TV I bought.
There is a bit of
down
lag,
here.
but it works.
Well, I guess I've never really played games on that per se, but I've airdropped stuff.
I did it
from
with the
my-
Delta emulator when I first got it, when I was first fucking around with it, and played a lot of Chrono Trigger on there, but I couldn't play anything that was like action oriented very long because of the
Yeah.
lag.
I did it as well with F-Zero Climax, and it didn't work right for that. But but for just playing shit, most for the two TVs, I mostly just watch wrestling. But I can mirror my computer to it. My computer's like a 2012 Mac, so you should be able to do that as well.
Yeah, that's been it for me. So I gotta get going.
All right. Well, thanks for chilling out longer than you did,
Yeah, thank you.
and
No
we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Yeah.
There you guys.
Later. And we'll take a break. Then we'll be back.
Break time. Hey, you.
It's me, Mario.
Yeah, you. Subscribe to our Patreon to hear our bonus shows, which happen every month.
I'm tired.
Tired of all the big corporate podcasts spoon feeding you the same old video game news on every single show?
Spaghetti. Ravioli.
Then expand!
With NintenDomain Expansion Pack,
It's us talking about old games that were important to us. It's us interviewing people that we meet at conventions. And heck, it's live shows from those same conventions. It's basically everything you could want that NintenDomain ever made.
Here we go!
And it's just $1 a month.
That's less than a bad indie on the eShop.
it's $12 a year, which is less than Nintendo Switch Online.
Thank you so much for subscribing to our Patreon and supporting NintenDomain.
Just go to patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast and hey, Mario, let go. He's throwing us back to the show.
So long, Bowser.
Patreon.com/NintenDomain Podcast.
Game over.
Anyway, so we're back from the break. Let's talk about what we've been playing. Jeremy, why don't you start it off?
Yeah, I don't have a lot to talk about as mostly I've been pretty busy the past couple of weeks, but I said earlier I was playing a lot of Balatro. Otherwise, we went camping and I mentioned at the top of the show that I was the friend of the raccoons because lately I've just been seeing them everywhere, which isn't that weird because it's the Midwest, but yeah, while we were camping, we had this raccoon that was like we were sitting at picnic table right next to the van, and the van, is pretty high up off the ground, and this little raccoon kept like popping out from underneath the van and looking at us, and eventually he would just like walk, and he would like get closer and closer to me every time, and I wasn't like beckoning him over or anything. I wasn't like running him off either, but I would just be more like, hey, what are you doing, man? Like, why are you coming over here? It's cool, but like I didn't plan on feeding him or whatever, because obviously that's against the rules. But this definitely seemed like a somewhat domesticated raccoon. And then,
I mean, aside from the rules, I would guess if you feed a raccoon, like, they're all going to come after you. Like, there's going to be 30 of them after that. I don't know.
Well, yeah, and exactly. So something along those lines. We finally, we kind of kept an eye, but he kept walking over by me, and it was later on I figured out he was going for. I had hung up the bag of trash off the edge of the canopy that we had up, hopefully keeping it up off the ground where nothing could get to it. But yeah, the raccoon was coming over by me because I was near the trash can. He didn't like care about me, because as soon as we like went into the van to like retire for the evening, we started hearing like crashing sounds after a little while, and I managed to like get a little video out of the window of it was two raccoons that were sort of like teaming up to one of them would like stretch as high as he could and like slash at it and try to rip open the bag. And the other one was like on the ground waiting to like grab stuff up and run off with it. All we had in there was some like cans. There wasn't like really any food. I think there was like one plate that had some melted cheese on it or something that they were probably after. But I don't know. It was the cutest thing because other than having to like clean up all that trash, because they destroyed that trash bag. But for the video, for the pictures,
you got to hang the trash from the trees, right?
Well, I thought I had it high up enough, but the raccoons could climb and they could reach. They could stand on their hind legs and use their hands like humans do. So I should have just thrown it in the dumpster, but whatever. I got like a cute little picture out of it, and a nice little cleanup experience afterwards, where I had to clean up all the stuff that I'd already put into the trash once.
Yeah, I saw the picture and I was curious. I was like, did you just wake up and you saw raccoons trying to steal your shit because you hung it on the tree or whatever? I don't know. I was curious.
Pretty much. I mean, that's the long and short of it. I wasn't asleep yet. I mean, they were waiting for us to like not quote unquote not pay attention anymore. They thought we were long gone, and it couldn't have been more than 10 or 15 minutes after we shut the van door that they were trying to steal our trash. That's my trash. Don't steal it. But otherwise, I did get a new game. It was super cheap, and it's something you talked up a lot last year when you played it.
I saw you got it. I saw you finally got the Rhythm
hella
Sprout.
cheap.
How much was it?
It was something like $1.99. I
really?
bought it up with
gold
points. Yeah, I bought it with gold points. So
I hope you. Well, I saw that you got it, and I was like, the first thing I thought was like, oh my god, are you going to say you hate it? Because Rhythm Sprout was awesome. Like, I love that game so much. I had so much fun with it. Well,
it shows that there's 20 levels that you can unlock, and I'm on level 13. So, and some of the levels have been really hard and taken me multiple tries.
But the music is really good too. Like I got the soundtrack. Well, I mean, I used it for our Game of the Year episode, obviously. But yeah, no, I thought the game was really good. And what I love about it is, there's so many rhythm games where like you do things but they don't matter. But what I love about Rhythm Sprout is like the what you do does matter. Where it's like it's a step. It's like left foot. It's like right foot, left foot, but it's also, but then later it incorporates like battles into it where you have to like dodge and then you attack people from hitting different buttons. Like I fucking love that game. I thought it was done.
There's like different stages to the battles.
Yeah, no, I thought it was done really, really well, and I thought the writing was done really well, and I thought it was really funny, and I don't know, I love this. I love the shit out of it.
I'll tell you that.
I mean, that's probably why I loved it, because of how weird it was.
In the vein of many other weird games, like by no means is the weirdest game I've ever played, but I definitely had a really surreal moment. Like right before we recorded the podcast, I beat level 12, and in level 12 you defeat. I mean, I don't think I'm running for anyone. In level 12 you beat. It's called like
I played through all of it, so tell me what.
Well, yeah, I just meant for the listeners.
Oh, sure.
It was called like Queen Candy or something like that. I beat her. She took a lot of tries. That was a hard boss, and after I finally beat it. You like leave the candy factory and you're just like left and right, just knocking everybody out of your way. You don't even have to fight them anymore. And you finally get to the end, and there's like 2 candy bars, like sentient candy bars.
Oh, okay.
Your character just flat out like just kills one.
Yeah.
And then the other character's like, the one that's living is like, you killed my entire family. You ruined my life. Just kill me too. And you're like, your character just like walks by him and leaves him standing there. And he's like, what do I do now? And then it does this whole like little epilogue like you'd see at the end of a movie. Like,
I can't
remember what his name was.
No, I remember that. Yeah.
Like, he wandered around and never had much meaning to his life again. He never found meaning again. And it was just really, really sad and depressing. Like your character just completely wrecked this guy's life. And your character is just like, whatever.
No, I'm saying that's why I love the game so much. Is that it just went? It went so many places. Like it went to a lot of places.
So dark. I did not expect it to get so dark. And it even lets you tell the guy like you could choose a choice to be like, I loved killing everyone or something like that. You could just be like a total sociopath about it.
I mean, I probably said this on a previous podcast way back when, but I think I thought that the main character was going to get something happen to them because they were just killing people all over the place. I'm like, well, I didn't really know where it was going to go, and this is a fucking rhythm game. Like, I don't know. I love.
You even get pooped out of a butt at one point, like Bob's Spicy Meal.
No, it was in the YouTube video, the best games of last year. It's in there. I put the pooping part in there. Of course I did, because you got to have the fun stuff in there. But yeah, watch it on youtube.com/NintenDomain podcast. You can see the
I like it. Yeah.
Stuff.
Once you get, I haven't played a good, I mean, I don't remember the last music game I really played that really like captured me. And I'm not saying like I'm like,
I told you it was a good
rhythm
game.
I like
it's really
it.
Good. Yeah,
I like it. I don't like the button layout. I would maybe change the button layout if I keep playing it. But at this point, I'm on level 13, so it's probably not worth it.
I thought it was fine.
But
I don't know. I was fine with it. I mean, as much as you could do with a controller, I thought it was pretty good. Like versus like guitar.
There's some of those button combinations where I'm like, I just don't like the way the buttons are laid out. It might even just be the 8-bit controller. Maybe I need to try.
Well, I mean, you could switch them around. I mean,
that's true.
You could change them to different areas. You could. I mean, even if it's not available in the game, you could do it within the Switch menu and all that. So you can make it work.
But I do like it. I mean, I've had a few moments. I just got it either yesterday or the day before.
Well, hopefully, yeah. No,
I find myself like once I'm like, sometimes I'll play it and I'll just be like really annoyed. Usually the first time I play it, I'll be like, oh, why? I don't even know why why am I even playing this? And then once you get into like literally the rhythm, once you like just get into the zone with it, all of a sudden you're not even like thinking anymore. Your fingers are just like doing it for you, kind of, and that's when it feels the best, when you're really just kind of like taking it all in and taking in this weird ass animation. I mean, you're a sentient onion, like who cares?
But it all makes sense though. Like it has like, like the beats are like, like I said, like right foot, left foot, like you do that, but then you run into somebody and you gotta dodge and then you gotta attack. Like everything that you do like makes sense within the game, and I thought that was what was really cool about it. Like you do in the rhythm, but it's like, you can just stand there and just let the beats go past you, and nothing happens. And I actually like that as well. Where you can kind of wait to get back into the rhythm again. Then you can actually. That's how I beat the game. That's where you stop and you wait for it to go through.
So you only get hurt if you don't dodge. Then I only sort of started figuring that out.
Yeah, you can wait.
Miss notes.
You can wait for it to go. You can actually kind of cheese it in that way, where you wait for the rhythm to go past you and you just hit certain notes, but you don't mess it up or whatever. Or if you're not in the battle where you don't dodge it. No, you're right. Yeah, if you don't dodge, then that will be the only way where you lose health. So if you dodge all of them and get past that, you can continue on. And I think that was kind of how I sort of cheesed my way through the end of it. But I just really liked it. It was I mean, it was much different from anything else I'd ever played, and yeah, it's fun. But I like that
it's charming.
I like that you don't move if you're not doing the beats, and I like that. I know I want that. If you're doing a rhythm game, I want the rhythms to actually mean something, and this one did. All of them meant something, and I thought it was really cool. So you should play through it. It's a great game.
Yeah, I've always got a soft spot for rhythm games, and always have, and so this is no exception. And it was basically free, so I'm gonna keep playing it.
I'm glad you finally came around to it, because yeah, it was one of my favorites from last year.
I was kind of hoping it came out this year, but I was like, no. Trey talked about that a really long time ago. I could have talked about it earlier on my list, but
it came out. It came out pretty. Oh yeah, it's on sale right now for $374. Like seriously, anybody who's listening to this still, fucking get this game. This game is awesome. Like seriously, 100%.
For the music alone, I think
It came out February 1st of 20. I knew it was early, 2023, February 1st. I knew it was at the beginning. But yeah, no, seriously, fucking get this game. It's fun as hell. Yeah, it's like $4. You're gonna have a blast with it. It's a very good game. It's on sale till the 18th, so I think we got some time still. This will be out. This will be out on the 12th, so yeah, you got a week after that. But fucking get it, please. If you give a shit about NintenDomain at all, get it. No. I had a blast with it. I really enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was a very good game. If you wanna understand the personality of myself, get Rhythm Sprout. I had a blast with that game.
You may never look at candy bars the same again.
You may never, or onion sprouts or whatever. Or I mean, just wait till you find the princess that you're trying to hunt for. But there's also the prequel as well. Have you done any of the prequel stuff? Because there's also a prequel in there also.
It said I had unlocked like a bonus level at one point, but
yeah, because there's a whole nother story like before the Rhythm Sprout gets to the king or whatever.
Oh,
there's this whole other story about before
Is
you
that
got
the beginner
there.
mode or whatever?
There's a whole prequel that you unlock. That's
you
a
unlock
different
it.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I didn't know if it was something I should have played already.
I was saying you probably have it already. You probably already have it, but yeah, there's this whole prequel mode in there also. But anyway, I thought it was funny. I mean, you got to the one dude that wanted to fucking watch Gilmore Girls with you, right? Did you got to that guy, right? Where you go into the dungeon, he's like ha 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 ha. Like I love that song. That's hilarious. Where he laughs at you and you have to like dodge it. Like it's amazing.
I don't know. I sometimes there's a pop culture reference in a game, but this is, I don't know. It was really funny. He's like Rory for life or whatever he said. Like he was like naming characters off the show and stuff. I'm like, wow, maybe this person really does like Gilmore.
They
Girls
went places. No, I thought it was great. I like I said, it was in my top 10 of last year. I really enjoyed the game, and even and Joel from Super GG Radio was on our podcast, and he was blown away by the game as well because he actually played it. I think anybody played it, but the people who did were like, "Hey, Rhythm Sprout, really good game." So
it's not afraid to be tough too. Like it's not like a holding your hand all the way through.
That's what I liked about it. Yeah,
I think it gets hard pretty quick.
It does. It does kind of.
It adds the
it does
escalate.
It does escalate pretty
and then
quickly.
It's all of a sudden, yeah. I'll tell you the hardest part for me. So you got the yellow on the left, whatever the pink, red, or whatever on the right. That's easy to remember. It's like flippers on a pinball table. I'm good. You throw the dodge. The dodge is the L button. That's cool. It can also be the R button, and then the L2 is your like special move, which I kept hitting on accident. That pissed me off, but eventually I got to where I wasn't doing that anymore. But the thing that gets me is that I've just gotten into the habit of always hitting the L button for dodge because the other button's my special. And so once I had to like do like jump from the yellow to the dodge, I was having a really hard time with it, even though I could use the right side. So I've just got to train my brain to like use the other side when I'm using the yellows. And if that makes any sense, you throw that in with those like bomb notes that'll hurt you even more.
Oh no, actually,
I get wiped out so fast.
That's what made it really hard was the bomb notes. Yeah, the ones where you can't just be like try to get into the zone and you miss them. Or
the very last thing I did in the game,
it takes away from your life and all. Yeah, no, actually that's what made it much harder. I think.
Well, the very last thing I did in the game, I'm at an elevator. And I fought a couple of the battles, and then I think it's either a second or third battle. It's this thing that shows up, and it's just shooting like, and there's like a little dodge that you have to hit every once in a while within like all these like bomb notes.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And I failed on that like twice, and then that was when I had to get on the podcast. But that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of it is
almost bullet hell.
A lot of it is you just have to hit the dodges, but nothing else will hurt you aside from that. So. That's how you can progress through it.
Yeah, but if you hit the dodge too early or too late, then you accidentally hit those little bombs that are all around it. So it does hurt you.
I'm just saying you can kind of cheese your way through it, but the songs are really good, and the game's good as well. And I'm glad you finally got it because I really enjoyed it a lot. It was a really good game.
I'm pretending like the sequel to Garden Story, and I'm just killing out everything else.
Did you get to play any of the Turdmire or Skidoo or whatever it's called? The Shadows of. You haven't got there yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Have you gotten the DLC, or are you just playing the?
Not yet. I've just been playing a lot of the main game, which
You haven't gotten.
I figured I wouldn't. I figured I wasn't going to talk about Elden Ring some more this week because you haven't
got to the 2023 Skidoo tree. I feel like I've heard so many people talk about it.
I'm tired. I've actually listened to a lot of lore, and I've actually kind of ruined the game for myself already, even though I haven't really played it. Just like, I don't know. I don't care. I learned from Elden Ring that I don't need to actually unlock all that lore myself. It's too much. I just need to listen to podcasts about it and read articles about it, and then just play the game and play the game as a game, because the way that the to figure out what's going on in the game is just, it's nuts what you got to do. You got to read every item description. You got to compare things to each other. You got to figure out like it's crazy. And then there's some things that just flat out don't make sense. And I guess FromSoft's notorious for just having those little red herrings in there. Like, oh, well, it's just there.
Are they pickled red herrings?
They could be if you use a foul foot on them. I mean, which is an item you make in the game, a pickled foul foot.
I was just that was a Terra Firma reference. So,
oh yeah.
When you find out about whatever.
That's not a pickle.
Yeah. Well, after that, but yeah, the pickled. When he finds all the pickled things he has, and one of them is a pickled red herring. Yeah.
Oh right, deep cut.
Yeah.
But that's about it for me, like game wise, and maybe I'll have more to say next week. I'm looking forward to our just like crazy binge of games we're gonna do the beginning of next month, and yeah, life's busy.
Life is busy. That's true. But actually, so for me, we took a break last week, which was good for me because I didn't have to edit for the week. so I had more time to play games, I guess. So last week, last week I went to see AEW Dynamite, which was awesome. I went to the Wynn Trust Arena and went to a live wrestling event, which was fun. That was a good time. But I didn't get back till like 11 or something like that. It doesn't matter. But so we missed that, and you were camping, and that's why we weren't there last week. But I already talked about Banana Rumble, which is a really, really good game. You should play that if you haven't played it. But I went to I didn't play any of the NES stuff that they added for 4th of July, but I did play Metroid Zero Mission. And I was just like, hey, I really like this game, so let's turn it on. And I loved it for the most part until we got to till Mother Brain. And Mother Brain was like,
I had to use
this. I was like, well, I'm a big fan of, Metroid is probably my favorite Nintendo franchise. Well, we did a whole episode about this. Go back and listen to that. I think it's like Metroid and F-Zero are pretty close for me. But so I've played through the original NES game a couple times. And so when I got to Zero Mission actually made it worse somehow. So like they did the annoyance of like where they're like shooting shit at you all the time, and you keep getting knocked into the lava, and you keep losing more of your life, and it's like awful. But when you get to the actual Mother Brain in the original game, you just have to sit in one spot and just like hammer on the, just keep shooting as quick as you can, and then you get through it. But
that's even in WarioWare.
Well, yes, it is in WarioWare. But on the Metroid Zero Mission, it's way worse because you have to because it shoots something at you and you have to dodge it, and then you have to jump down, and then you have to shoot the eye in the brain, and I'm like, I hate this so much. Like I was so like I love Zero Mission so much until I got to the Mother Brain. I was like, this game is making me so angry right now. Like I was having a great time until I got to this, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like you're just like shitting all over this great time I was having on this game. Like fuck you, like fuck off. Like I was so angry about it, and it was awful. And somehow I made it through. That was the only time I used the rewind, was just trying to rewind before I lost all my fucking energy tanks that I had when I'm trying to deal with this fucking bullshit Mother Brain boss. And yeah, it's like you have to dodge a thing, and if you don't, you get dropped into the lava, and you get hit by another thing, and you lose all your life, and it's just not fun. But yeah, The original NES one, yeah, you just sit in a spot and you just, if you have enough missiles and you have enough energy tanks, you just shoot it and you kill it and then you go through the shit and get out of there. And this one, somehow I was like, well, props to them for making it as annoying as the NES game, but also fuck you to making it more annoying than the NES game. Like, it's like, all right, yeah, we know that part sucks, but do we need to make it suck more than it was? Like, seriously. Because, yeah, no, I was having a blast with the game, and I was like, oh, this game is done really well. This is like smooth sailing, and then I get to the fucking brain boss, and I'm like, fuck this game. Like, when I get there, I'm like, garbage. But I got past that, thankfully, and then I got to the covert ops stuff, which I pretty much just ran through most of it. And then you get your suit back, and everything is easier after the mother brain. Like, after that, it's way easier, you know. So it's like not as bad as that. But I think the mother brain part is like the worst part of it. But I got through it. It said I got through it in 4 hours, like 4 and 5 minutes or something like that. Which I think it took me a couple days, but I mean, like I said, I love Metroid. I love Zero Mission, so I wanted to play through it on the Game Boy Advance on the Switch, and I did, and I got through there, and there we go. I did the Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble, and then I did that one as well. But I've also been playing a lot of Paper Mario: A Thousand Year Door, and I respect Mario finally.
Wow.
All right, so I realized by myself. I realized this. So you get a lot of things in Paper Mario where it's like, all right, if you only have 5 hit points, you get a lot of these things. So you get a lot of things where they power you up when you get 5 hit points. So I'm going to the 5 hit point challenge or whatever they call it. But so I beat what was it? I beat the pirate ghost boss. And once you get past the pirate ghost boss, you can respec your stats on Paper Mario 1000 Year Door. So I was actually doing this. I was playing this, and once you get past that, you get Admiral Bobbery, and you can bomb the thing, and you go to the thing, and you basically. So you can take away anytime you put anything into your HP, you can take that all away and put it all into your badge powers, which is what
a shit ton of badges.
Yeah. Which actually what you should do in every Paper Mario game. I was doing that. I remember us talking about that on the Nintendo 64 game, where you would put all the badge power into your, just put it all into badges, not the fire power or the HP power or whatever. And I basically took everything off of that, so I made it to where I have only 5 HP, and you can get a bunch of badges where if you're at 5 HP. Then every hit will like miss you or have higher damage and all that. So you can basically make yourself completely invincible if you just like make yourself just at 5 HP and just power everything on the badges. That's pretty awesome. I mean, that's what I was doing in the 64 one.
I don't recall, like, I guess it's been longer than I thought. I don't remember there being a respec. Was that in the original one, or is that something they added?
It was. No, it is in the original one. Like I said, after you beat the pirate ghost at the Keyhole Key, which the Keyhole Key sucks. Keyhole Key, basically, you go all the way to the end, and you go all the way back to the beginning, and you go all the way to the end again, and then you go all the way back to the beginning, and then you go all the way to the end again. That's basically the whole thing. It's like Fury Road, like Mad Max Fury Road, but not as exciting. It's the same thing where you go all the way to the end, you go back to the beginning, and you go back to the end again. It's not great. But, when you get to Keyhole Key, that's where you get Admiral Bobbery. And oh my god, Admiral Bobbery, I had a minute. I think I was kind of drunk when I was playing it, but Admiral Bobbery, so I don't know if you remember him, he's the Bob-omb that you get in Paper Mario 1000 Year Door. So Admiral Bobbery, he was the king of the sea or whatever. He was the ultimate pirate or whatnot. And when you meet him in the game, he's like, I'm done with the sea. I'm done with sailing. And the reason that he's done with sailing is because his wife died while he was at sea. And his ultimate love, like his love forever, died while he's at sea, and he's like, I'm not going to fucking sea ever again. And then you meet him, and he's like, I'm not fucking do that. So you have to go to the bar that he went to multiple times. You got to talk to the bartender. Then the bartender will give you this letter from his wife, where she wrote out and said like, oh, I'm dying, but you should still love the sea because that is your life or whatever. And you have to fucking give this to Admiral Bobbery, like to get him to get you to fucking to like save the demon's soul of the fucking 1,000-year door or whatever. I don't know. I felt kind of bad. I was like, leave this guy alone. Come on, he dealt with some shit. Like, leave him alone. Like, seriously.
I mean,
like,
was this an actual letter from his wife, or was this a forged letter?
No, it's a real letter in the game. It's a real letter in the game. But I kind of felt bad when I was giving him the letter. I was like, what? Oh yeah, because of my stupid fucking. Because I'm the main character of this dumbass game. I got to give this letter of his dead wife. Like, leave him the fuck alone. Like, seriously, I had issues with it. I was like, dude, let him mourn. Like, seriously, like we don't need to like get him to do all this shit or whatever. But yeah, it was weird. Yeah, Admiral Bobbery. That's how you get him in there. You have to give him a letter from his wife that's like, oh no,
I do not remember this.
You gotta live. Like, even though I died while you're at work, and it's like I don't know how I could deal with that, but yeah.
Go back to work. Now you don't have to worry about me dying while you're at work because I'm dead already.
But there's work. But there's a whole nother but there's a whole nother thing too where there's another part where Admiral Bobbery gets attacked and he's like oh I'm about to die. You need to feed me this cola that I used to drink all the time, and you have to go back and get the cola and you give it to him, and he's like, just feed it to me, and I'm gonna die drinking this, and you feed it to him, and he's like, and you think he's dead, but then he starts snoring, and they're like, oh my god, no, he's just asleep. There's a lot of shit in there for Admiral Bobbery, but yeah. Anyway, wow. The Paper Mario remake's been great. I've been having a lot of fun with it. But yeah, the Admiral Bobbery thing, I was like, leave him alone. Just let him be. Come on, he's been dealing with some shit with his wife, whatever. So yeah, but yeah, and the respec Mario stuff. Well, what you were saying earlier, the respec stuff. When you get to it in the underground of the rogue port or whatever, you have to use a bomb to get into the respec area, and that's where you can move shit around. Where it's like, all right, well, I want to take stuff away from my hit points, or I want to take shit away from my fire points, or I want to take shit away from my badge points. That's where you can kind of move things around, and that's where you can make it to where you're 5 HP, and you can have a whole lot of badges that will help you out with that. And we'll see how far I can get with that, but I do have like 4 badges where they will ultimately protect me if I'm at 5 HP. So we'll see where it goes. But yeah, Paper Mario 1,000-Year Door. It's a great game. It's a good time. I've been having a good time with it. Oh
yeah, another one of those things I wish I could be playing if it wasn't so expensive and I didn't already own it in some capacity.
Buy it on your Japanese eShop account. It's much cheaper. You probably buy it for $40 on there. Well, I mean, you got to get on Play Asia or whatever. But no, it is much cheaper than it is on here. But yeah, no, it's yeah, I've been having a good time with it. And also, I was trying to do. I have all of the characters. I've collected all of the characters now, and the like the extra stuff they added where you can jump from one to another really helps. Well, the the shortcuts they added into the new version really helps a lot. So that's cool. Because I
do recall there was like a pipe area in the original game that was like a kind of like a hub spot, but is it something different than that?
It's definitely different from the original because when you go to Rogueport, like right when you get off the ship at the very beginning of the game, there's a pipe right there where you can go down. And when you go to the 1,000-Year Door and it shows you the new place to go to, when you go through that pipe, there's another pipe that shows up that will take you back to the place you once were at. So it's like you can go right down there, and I'm pretty sure it's different from the GameCube one. But it actually really helps because I was doing one of the trouble. You remember the troubles where you go to like where they'll give you different missions that you have to do. And there was one, the Bulber or whatever his name is. He's in Pedaltown, that sort of thing. He's like, give me a hot dog, give me a cake, and there was like all these different places I had to go to, and I could find myself being very, very angry about going to all these different places if I didn't have the warp spots that are in the new ones. So it's like, all right. Cause like, all right, go to Glitzville, where the pro wrestling area, which I love. That was a lot of fun. But
Hawk Tua.
well, yeah, but yeah. Well, I mean, in the game, you'd have to go back and you got to get on the thing, fly over there. But this one, you just get in a pipe and you're already there. And here's the hot dog. And just give it to the guy. And I got a couple hot dogs. So I thought I want another one. He's like, oh no, give me a cake. I'm like, all right, fine. All right, I got to go to the Twilight Realm to get the fucking cake mix, and I got to go over to whatever the fuck her name is, Zesty, this other one. She got to cook the cake, and then I'll bring it over here. But it's nice where it's like, it's all just like, boom, boom, boom. You can put it all together, and it's I don't know. I like the new version of it. It's been making it much better, making everything much better.
Well, I think it's more than anything, I'm just happy this is on the Switch, and people can play it. It's not stuck on the GameCube forever. And everybody keeps saying when a new Paper Mario comes out, no, we want 1,000-Year Door. Now I hope enough people bought this that they're like, yeah, we can do a sequel.
Right.
Or, something in the same style at least.
Well, I mean, but also I was thinking this at the same time. You can kind of feel like the way they were going, like when you're playing the game, it's like, well, so we go to Super Paper Mario, where it's like we just jump on stuff, but you still cannot. But you can still level up and all that. But you can still kind of see the process of it. And you can kind of see where they got to, like, Origami King and all that. Where if you're doing the thing where, like, where you take it down to, like, 5 HP and you're just doing all the badges, maybe leveling up doesn't really matter anymore. So maybe that's why they got away from, from using, like, experience points to get you to the next level. I don't know. You can kind of see the process a little bit.
I know they definitely added more action elements.
I mean, I'm not saying that I like all of a sudden love Origami King, which I never played it. I mean, you did, but I did not because I wanted to be more like 1,000-Year Door. But when you get to like the 5 HP stuff, you kind of see a little bit of it where maybe it doesn't mean as much to level up, and maybe they want you to level up just to give you more badges, so maybe that's why they got to where they got to with, like, Sticker Star and, whatever. Which I don't like those games, but maybe they wanted to go outside of this bubble of RPGs or whatnot. I don't know. But regardless.
Then they kept going farther and farther outside the bubble until eventually there was no bubble. It had burst.
That's true. But 1,000-Year Door is awesome. And it's very good on Switch. And it was number 2. It was the number 2 best-selling game of the month that it came out. On the internet said that. So there we go. But I do have to say, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I shouldn't say that much more. But anyway, did you get to play F-Zero 99 on Tetris 99? Did you play that?
I did not. I feel bad that I missed that.
It was awesome.
That seems like a cool theme.
I felt like I did the best. I got like 10th place once. No, I liked it because it kind of brought me into the F-Zero world, and I was like, yes, here we are. No, all the music was awesome because it reminded me of F-Zero 99, so it was all good. But my middle name, or my nickname, Megaton Musashi Wired, or TreeHouse Musashi Wired. So this is a game I was very excited about for a long time. First came out, it was on sale for 50% off. In about 34 minutes, it will not be on sale anymore. That's what they say.
Oh.
On July 11th. Anyway, it was 50% off. It came out at $50, and it was on sale for $24.99. And I bought it because I was like, what are you going to do? You going to wait for it to be on sale again? Like, fucking get it now. Anyway, it's a video game based on an anime. It's based on an anime. And it's a mixture of It's basically like part visual novel, part mech action game, and it's pretty cool. It's done by Level 5, who did who's done hits like Yokai Watch.
Okay.
I mean, you know, Level 5. They did a lot of games.
Didn't they do Professor Layton?
I think they did. Yeah. No, I think they did. But anyway, it's a rad game. I've been having a good time with it.
It's got a lot of characters. I'm looking at the Wikipedia page.
No, I just wanted to take, because I knew Level 5 did a lot of shit. So it's like Level 5, Fantasy Life, Inazuma 11, Professor Layton. There it is. Yeah, no, I knew they did a lot of stuff. So yeah, Megaton Musashi. It's a mech game, and I'm a big fan of Gundam, of the original Gundam series, and multiple ones after that, regardless. But no, it's cool. I had seen it came out around the time of the of that first shooter that I got that I didn't necessarily care for. But I've been into it, but I didn't want to pay for $50 for it. But when it got down to $25, I was like, all right, let's do it. And I saw that Switch Up did a review of it, did a pretty good review of it after I bought it. But anyway, you play like a young high school student, whatever, and you basically you get into a fight with somebody in an arcade, and they're like, all right, you got to fight these big robots. And once you defeat these robots, they're like, all right, so we got to tell you about what life actually is. So it turns out we're like in this Matrix world. We're in this fucking Plato's Cave world, and nothing actually is what you think. 90% of humanity is dead, and you're the only ones alive. And then there's a part earlier in the game where it's like, all right, so your younger sister died, and you have these nightmares about your sister dying, your younger sister, and then you find out that that's real and that actually happened. They're like, let's give you memories, and let's tell you about how we get attacked by aliens and how we're all fucking dying now. And by the way, get in a fucking mech and defend us. I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, Gundam was like that, and I think Neon Genesis was as well. But
yeah,
same sort of thing. It's like, and they even kind of have a joke about that, where they're like, well, we should put kids in there because they're younger. They're better handling robots, so let's throw them in there, like that sort of thing. But I've had a good time with it. It's basically, so like I said, it's a mixture of a visual novel mixed with a mech action game. So you run around, you do the different things in the visual novel part, and there's a little icon at the corner of the game that keeps filling up, and it's just an icon of your robot, and it fills up, and once it gets to the top, then you can go back to the action mech stuff. But it looks really good. I think Level 5 did a really good job, and yeah, it plays really well. It's very smooth. I mean, there's been like, I don't know how many mech games on Switch, but I feel like this one has done the best as far as like where it feels like, I don't know, and you can just hit ZL, and then you can automatically just pull your gun up, and it's like a third person shooter, and you can just move around and shoot the guy. I don't know, it works really well for me, and it's been a good time. I've been having a good time with it.
Have you considered watching the anime? It says it's on Crunchyroll.
Well, it is. Yes, it is on Crunchyroll. Actually, I did consider watching it, but I think it's pretty cool the way they portray it in the game, because there are parts where you run around and they do the different dialogue, but they do like the full motion animated stuff as well. And I feel like this is one of the best ones where it's like you feel like you are in on the story. So I didn't want to like get too ahead of what I was playing in the game on the anime.
That makes sense.
Which, I mean, I played plenty anime games where it's like I'd rather just watch the anime and not the game. Like I mean I played a bunch of One Piece ones were never as good as the anime. Or I played the lesbian golf game, like I have that one as well.
Right.
Never got to the actually. I should know the name of it, but I never got to how good the actual cartoon was. So this one has actually been better because it showed like full, like the full like hand drawn animation, really good stuff in it. I mean, it's a level 5 game, so you automatically think it looks good. So I mean, you can see it and be like, hey, looks all right. Birdie Wing was the show. Whether I'll edit in there or not, who knows. Anyway, all right. So yeah, I think that's we're good on that, right? We don't have anything else to say.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah,
I don't think so. We might revisit some of the news we didn't mention next week when John's back, because I don't think any of it is anything that's very timely.
that's true. Anyway, that's been episode
429.
That's been episode 429 of NintenDomain Podcast. And if you've enjoyed this episode, go to patreon.com/NintenDomain Podcast. And for $1, you can get 60 plus episodes, more episodes of us talking about things. And if you like the free episode of the 4th of July episode, you can get more of those on there as well. And on the $5 level and various other levels, you can get extra things. Like WART Radio, where we give you all of the music from the intros and outros for NintenDomain Podcast. You can check that out on there and all of that. And you can find us on social media somewhere at NintenDomain, at Nintendo_domain on Twitter, and at JMaxTac. And on the Bisky, just look up NintenDomain. You'll find us on Bisky. We're on there. A blue sky. That's where it is. But yeah, we've been your hosts. I'm Trey Johnson.
Jerry Mikowski.
And thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you next time.
天空に轟く雷鳴反撃ののろしが上がる秋が大地を焼き尽くす時この鉄の侍が立ち上がるここから後には一歩も引かぬと絶対に敵の闘志が燃え上がる聞こえるか正義の叫びが獅子の不屈魂を奮い立たせるんだCortez Musashi
You like broke the sound barrier. I didn't even hear that.
There's a bunch of dogs barking, so yeah, I did the right thing.
And we are your hosts. I'm Trey. Hold on. I knew this was going to be a problem when I put it in here.